thanks for staying a minute later with us and also keeping your cool through. I do that just for hazing. I just try to make it as hard as possible on the technology and see if you can keep your cool. So you did it.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I wasn't, that was I should have asked, and I made an assumption, which was, you know what that does? So you make them out of you and me, right? I should never have assumed so. Sorry.
It all worked out good, and everybody got the PDF. So we had it in multiple ways, and it was a good test. We were actually running a class simultaneously in Zoom this morning. So we also you can't do that with the same host. So we're running managing portfolios today. So we had all kinds of things going. So
I know, I'm tired.
Yeah, Linda. I know, right? It's only early in the morning. But where's your Coke, Brad? Let's give him Heather. Look, I'm in Brad's office. So here, Heather, I'll bring that. Okay, when he's done with the Coke, right? It was.
Now he's in the Monster. Okay,
that's the emergency.
So, Heather, did you have any revelations or epiphanies, maybe from the chat, or some of the things that
already mentioned it prior, just the turning point where now it's no longer just business as usual. It's a little bit more personal than that. So I'm happy to see that's actually transitioning because, like I said, as for me, I feel like that's how it's always been for me. It's always been personal. So I'm glad that that's become a common trend. And then I also like the whole point of the purpose. So, figure out your why and why is it that you're going into work and what is it that you want to do and making sure that you ask yourself that question at the end of every day. So for me, I think those were my biggest takeaways from the presentation.
I like that. Brad, what about you?
It's funny about culture and purpose and passion. When you try to mosh all that together, I can see some companies and people that work for those companies that have USAA, right? They can be passionate about what they do every day. They know they're serving the great veterans of the country and their families. Easy to get passionate about that. Easy to build a culture around that passion. And they've successfully have done that, right? But I look at some technology companies and let's just say, I don't know, let's just say a telecom company, right? I personally, I try to think how those people would be, who are in those organizations, of how they can find passion for what they do for getting someone's information in the cloud, getting someone's cable stuff set up, right? Because everybody else is doing it too. And the passion is they have to do it better maybe. But I find it hard for them to find that passion. And without the passion, I find it hard to create culture. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of torn. From certain industries will always be challenged in regards to creating culture.
Yeah, I think to an extent that's true. And you have a lot of people that are into, cloud is the way of the future. But, we're moving into blockchain, which is going to be very different, and that's going to impact some of this. And I'm not going to pretend to know all of that, but I just had somebody who Alyssa Cohn, Robin.
Yeah.
She was just on my radio show, and we were talking about blockchain and how everything is going to be moving to that, which is sort of unclear to me about how all of that works. But when you think about the cloud and you think about technology, yes, you may have competitors, Brad, but by the same token, what you're doing every day is you're preserving somebody's life, mm-hmm. Somebody's photos, somebody's history, somebody's, financial history. And yes, again, it may be a competitive thing, but are you doing that in a way that is helping your clients and your customers? I mean, I think that's the bigger picture of technology. Are you helping people communicate with their loved ones? I mean, you guys, we would never have been able to do this 10 years ago. I mean, they had, HP had the panels and all that. They had the technology, but not so accessible to people like us. you know. So I think you can find purpose, but I think the way you do it, Brad, is you ask, what is the purpose here? Yeah, we have competitors, but how do we become, and I see this here, how do we become awesome?
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do we be passionate about what we do? And I don't think I know the answer, but I do know that the question will create the answer.
Well, I think you hit it right on the nose too. If you are in a place of employment and part of a company, an organization, you said if you can't find the culture or you don't see the culture changing, leave, because it probably won't. Right? Right.
No. Totally. And if the leaders are not into it, it's not going to change, because everybody wants to say, oh, well, you can change the culture without the leaders. Yes, you can, but if the leaders are not there, it's going to be very difficult. And I have never seen any research that does not support the fact that it starts with the leaders.
And I don't know how you do. I don't know what the distributed workforce is like, if that makes it more challenging to create culture. I didn't think you get a chance to touch on that topic, but I'm sure that's another variable in regards to creating the culture.
Yeah, and that's a great question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look at Uber. Uber is a distributed workforce. And actually, all those people don't really work for Uber, which is, of course, being challenged too. But they have developed a toxic culture. And the Uber drivers know that, and they've got sexual harassment problems and all that. So how does that happen in a company that's only 3 or 4 years old? It's because the leaders that started that company are toxic bullies. It's just that simple. And so there's a perfect example of a distributed workforce which is getting impacted negatively by a raw culture. And a lot of people went to Lyft. I did.
Wow, Linda, you hit that one on the head pretty concise as far as a good case study. And that is very interesting. I wanted to call out, when you were talking about the answer, ask, listen, think, I forget what the next two were.
Respond, repeat.
Yeah, I got the repeat, and okay, so you can see in my head. So we're framework process people in our core, and so there was a whole long Agile discussion going on in the chat there, and I thought, oh, Linda just gave us a really good Agile people framework, right? We're all talking about how to do Agile projects, and there's a whole ceremony for that, which we teach. But that was a very good framework, sort of an Agile people framework. I really like that very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin. I may use that terminology.
Good,
I like that. Thank you.
I'm in your shadows, woman. I'm in your shadows. So, listen, we have some chutney. I'm not in my office, but imagine a beautiful bottle of Baskstage home-style chutney. We'll be giving. Oh, let's see. There's one there. Oh no, yeah. So our CEO is a food mogul. He has his own brand on Amazon, Baskstage Homestyle, and so as our gift to you today, we're going to send you a lovely cranberry or mango chutney from Omnikron. And I look forward to figuring out how to continue the conversation. You really got a lot of people thinking today. And maybe we'll figure out how to make a class together or something. But awesome. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robin. It's such a pleasure to be friends with you. And thank you so much for reaching out to me and making this happen. All of you guys, you're just the best.
Thank you. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for those who stayed with us. And true fans indeed. True fans indeed. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.